And of course, we are saying farewell to Commissioner Bob Stump. Our crack staff did some research on Commissioner Stump and found an interesting story from his high school days that demonstrates his leadership qualities at an early age. Young Bob was always known as a brainy kid, but like most guys, he wanted to be known for his brawn as well. So he let it be known that he created a list of all the guys in school that he could beat up. And this list included all the guys in school. Get my papers together so I get the story right. Now, this came to the attention of a very large football player who approached our future commissioner one day and said, "Hey, Stump, I hear you have a list of all the guys in school you can beat up." Bob answered, "That would be in the affirmative." Football player said, "I guess that means yes." "Is my name on that list?" Again, Bob said, "That would be in the affirmative." This big kid gets right in our young hero's face and demands, "Then how about we go behind the bleachers and see about that?" Young Bob, demonstrating the leadership skills that have served him well in politics and bachelorhood, quickly answered, "Oh, we don't have to do that. I'll just take your name off the list." We have a farewell video tribute for Commissioner Stump. Roll a video. Watch the screens.
Before I was elected to the House, I actually knew Bob Stump. We were in Young Republicans together. So we actually knew each other before we were both elected, and we came into the freshman class together, so we were freshmen together. And since I already knew him and we were already friends, as all the other freshmen were getting to know each other, Bob and I already knew each other. So I started calling him, just as a joke, I would call him BF, and everybody thought that that meant best friend, but it was a joke that I would call him boyfriend. And so he started calling me GF for girlfriend. Well, we didn't really realize that word would get around and a rumor would start that perhaps we were boyfriend and girlfriend, which we weren't. We were just really good friends.
Oh, hello. I was just catching up on some of my reading. It's been a while since I've read the Gadsden Treaty, 1853. Good times. Many of you don't know that I've known Bob Stump since the very beginning, ever since he was a freshman legislator at the Arizona House of Representatives, and I was a staff member there. So for 16 years, I've watched Bob develop good public policy for the people of Arizona. Because I've spent so many years working with Bob, I feel like I've come to know him pretty well. In fact, I've become fluent in Bob Stump speak. I can translate almost anything the man has to say. So, with the help of media services, we've gone back into the archives and we've picked out some of our favorites to share with you. Let's take a look.
In describing these commitments, I think a metaphor is apt. It's been said the music is liquid architecture and architecture is frozen music. And this points to a paradox of sorts. Our nation's utility infrastructure must become more liquid, that is, more flexible and capable of handling bidirectional energy flows, even as it becomes more resilient and hardened. What was once top-down has become bidirectional. What was once static has become dynamic.
So to translate, for us mere mortals, Bob is saying that he supports the SunZia transmission line project and votes for it.
Wouldn't it be more fair to say that, given the fact that houses, rooftop solar arrays cannot process wheat, wouldn't it be fairer to say that indeed the product that the consumer exports is actually a wholesale product?
Simply put, solar panels produce energy, not wheat. Distributed generation should be valued at a fair price.
Today we made one more step towards facilitating the discovery of what I think is the holy grail of energy, or at least one of the holy grails, and that is better technology and better programs to encourage energy storage.
Battery storage is the next big thing. It is a good thing, and we should encourage it.
I don't know what we're doing here, I think we should have an evidentiary hearing. Just
Commissioner Stump still has the floor. You're going to have the
But you-
in just a moment. We
So I
have this
object.
hearing.
I object
Okay, fine. So noted. Let's
to
go,
this
Commissioner
type
Stump.
of testimony when it's not testimony. This
Commissioner
is-
Newman, this, if anything, is satisfying my intellectual curiosity and enabling me to make a more informed decision in light of my recognition of the expertise or lack thereof of the people speaking.
Paul, I'm simply trying to do my job here. Get off my back.
I wonder if you could elucidate on both those points. Is there any way you can implement that just to ameliorate that problem, or do you see that as unworkable ultimately as well?
Yeah, that one, Bob, I have no idea what you were saying there. I can't help you.
And what a polite, gentlemanly, kind, good person that he obviously was, and easy to work with, very bright. He was right there on the issues. He was 100% correct in my view, and so he was just an exceptional person to work with in the House.
As soon as I arrived on scene, working for Commissioner Gary Pierce, you knew who Commissioner Bob Stump was. He was going to be very charismatic and a delight to work with.
Oh, Bob is always fun to play tricks on, but Bob has a wonderful sense of humor. Bob uses big words all the time.
I guess it's the alacrity with which that's done. I wonder if you could elucidate on both those points.
Chairman,
nihilistic. And I don't want to be a narcissist. Please pardon my guttural utterances. That's my presumption. Let's say an under 10% proportion of the non-biogenic portion in an average day.
And half the time, I don't know what he's talking about. He is wonderful. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I have a text from Bob right now. Oh, Bob. He's asking me if I would like to go to the opera. Bob is such a great person.
I think another element of Bob's character that's impressed me the most would have to be how much he cares and supports his family, his friends, and his colleagues.
Okay, Bob has got a very eclectic taste. He loves a good bow tie. He loves a good tweed jacket.
Oh yeah, he's quite the gentleman. I actually, now that I have my child, he's about 3 months. I dress him up in bow ties in hopes that he'll be the next Bob Stump. So. Oh, I just got a text message from Bob Stump.
Bob has great bow ties. I remember wearing bow ties in the 1970s. Maybe they'll come back. Bob certainly thinks they've come back, and has for a long time. He's one of a few that do wear bow ties, and I'm proud that he wants to be distinguished. Hold on just a second. I have a text. Oh, it's from Bob. What could he want? Oh. That's funny. Well, that's kind. Anyway, I'll respond later.
So, Commissioner Stump is a walking enigma of a man. Okay, he's not very sociable. He doesn't let people get close to him. He's barely on social media. So, I've tried to figure out where he's come from, his past, what makes him the monster that he is today. So I did a lot of digging, talked to folks, went on the internet, blogs, Alex Jones, you name it. And I pieced together some of his past. He was born, actually, on a tropical island somewhere between North Korea and Tijuana. He was the heir of a mortuary empire. So he's sort of like the Great Gatsby, but with a beat-up Prius, right? So he goes to high school, radicalized madrasa, right? He has his formative years in Berkeley, California. Okay, UC Berkeley, horrible place. You couldn't pay me to live there. He becomes a thought leader in the space of trigger warnings, safe spaces, and so forth. Real pioneer in the field. He then goes to the East Coast and becomes a journalist. I think it was for Mother Jones, some publication. They have him report and reenact portions of the Clinton scandal. So that's really what he's doing at that time. Again, I've only got bits and pieces of the story. He then tries to come out west through the porous borders through New Mexico to Arizona, and somehow ends up in public office. No big surprise, he's a shill for big mortuary, deregulates embalming fluid, so forth. Are we gonna miss the guy? Who am I to say? But I'll know that we'll probably find him wandering Marshalls or Ross, maybe in Halloween stores trying to shoplift bow ties. I don't know what he'll do. He's big into music, so he's obviously the club sponsor for Celine Dion, Enya, and so forth. He's big into music, so he'll probably do something there. He might go back into the mortuary business. I'm just not sure, but I just good luck, I guess is my motto to him.
So Bob, I'm sorry to see you go. So I want to say from me to you in words that you can understand. Bob, you were an exemplary legislator. As a commissioner, you were beyond reproach. The explanation of your votes were an erudite display of your calculus of the matters pending before you. As a commissioner, you never acted on whim or by caprice. Your regulatory acumen is only surpassed by your fidelity to common sense. You treated all parties who came before you with respect, and you are, sir, a true gentleman. I wish you all the best in whatever the future holds for you, and unlike Icarus, may your wings not be made of wax, but be forged from steely determination. In normal people speak, I will tell you that I will miss you, my friend, and I wish you all the best. Let's go grab a beer sometime.
Hi Bob, this is a special dispatch from Antarctica. I wanted to wish you all the best in your path ahead. It's been a pleasure to work with you over the last couple of years. I wanted to thank you for all the great work that you've done, especially on energy efficiency. You're leaving an incredible legacy behind, saving Arizona billions of dollars over the next years. So thank you so much for all that you've done, and best of luck.
Commissioner Stump, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to work with you for the past couple of years. It's truly been a pleasure. I think you're probably one of the, if not the best boss I've ever had. I'll miss seeing you every day. I wish you luck in your future endeavors. I know that whatever you do, you will do an amazing job at it. And I've known you for 16 years. I know that we'll keep in touch. You can't get rid of me that easily.
Hi, Bob. I just wanted to thank you sincerely for being the most incredible boss, mentor, and dear friend this past year and a half. It's been short but sweet, and it's been a tremendous privilege and a pleasure to be able to work alongside you and learn from the best. I truly believe that this isn't the end for you, Bob. I truly believe that the best is yet to come, and so with that, I wish you nothing but the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and you'll be missed dearly, and stay in touch. Congratulations, Bob.
I've known you for half my life, about 6 years. I will slightly miss you and the humor that you bring and the brevity to certain situations. Again, good luck. Again, Mother Jones is hiring again, so you can get back into the journalism business and do what you've always done. Godspeed, sir.
Bob, congratulations on a wonderful 8 years. You are a fantastic commissioner. You're a fantastic person. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to work for you for the last 6 years, and I can't thank you enough for all the humor, the grace, the support that you have given me. We've gone through a lot together, including lots of public scrutiny, but also lots of fun times.
You know, Bob, with the legislature and here at the commission, you and I served 10 years together. We've been in the foxhole together, and there's no one that I'd rather have there with me than you, because I knew I could count on you. I knew there were times we weren't going to agree, and we certainly didn't on some issues. But on the larger scale, you were there. I always knew that you were honest, you had integrity, and you were doing what was best for the ratepayers, for the customers of all these utilities. And there could be nothing better said. The only thing that is owed to you as you leave here is our thanks. My thanks as a customer of these utilities, and the thanks of all the voters and citizens of Arizona who know that you've done a great job in representing them. And I know you'll have a successful future. Best wishes, good luck. I'm always there for you. Take care, my friend.
Well, you know, Bob is a very snappy dresser. And so in preparation for today's interview, I thought really long and hard about what I was going to wear. Obviously, I couldn't show up to do a Bob Stump video for, you know, wearing substandard clothing. So, Bob, this is just for you. I busted out my new Tory Burch handbag. This is actually from Santa. Came a little early. That's the beauty of online shopping, is Santa comes early. Inside, which I just love, it has like a mini little Tory Burch makeup kit. Genius. Of course, the matching Tory Burch sweater. And then, of course, you know, I have the Kate Spade sunglasses that go with it, because you can't have just like the CVS $10 ones. I used to have those, but then you would one-up me with the sunglasses. So we now have Kate Spade. And of course, the little Gucci key fob, because you can't park in Bob's parking spot unless you're using the Gucci key fob. And of course, everybody needs their Kardashian lip gloss. I know you don't use that, but if you do, we don't want to know about it, certainly not on this video. And then finally, it wouldn't be a Bob Stump video unless we talked about cell phones. So this is my cell phone. It's an iPhone. You're familiar with these, but mine has a Tory Burch little silicone case on it. Keeps it from slipping. That way, make sure we can always find it. Hopefully it won't be needed. Hopefully nobody will be requesting it, but if they do, you can tell anyone. It's got the orange Tory Burch silicone non-slip grip inside this handy dandy makeup case. There you go, FOIA free, right in the bag. All for you, Bob Stump. I think that's a pretty good outfit.
If I could take a moment, I have a few words that I'd like to say about Bob.
Well, that's what we was going to turn over to you for all. It's customary that we do that.
So the first time, and I wrote it down because I want to make sure I get it all in here. So I remember the first time I met Bob. I was actually attending a Fountain Hills Republican Club meeting where he and Gary Pierce were speaking. And I remember being very impressed with his remarks, which were delivered with style and sophisticated wit, something lacking in the dozens of speakers I've listened to over several years. Little did either of us know at that time that we would serve together as corporation commissioners just a few short years later. When deciding whether or not I should run for Corporation Commission during the summer of 2013, I felt it was important to meet with the 5 sitting commissioners. If I were to be elected, I wanted to have the support of those I would be working with. You see, I felt that if I were to win, I would be part of a team and that we would be working together to move our mutual policy agendas forward. In our first meeting, I was struck with the openness and complete lack of pretension Bob displayed. I remember making my case as to why I wanted to run and what I wanted to accomplish. Bob listened, offered his advice, and by the end of our conversation, offered his support. Little did I know at that time he would be one of the most outspoken and courageous supporters of me in my campaign. Bob was a tireless champion for me in what was a very difficult primary campaign. We had some fun with it, though. I remember a fundraiser we did at Durant's. Bob sponsored it for me, and it was really a hoot. We published it out on Facebook as a dual fundraiser for Doug Little and Pomeranian Rescue. The Pomeranian Rescue was a slyly humorous reference to a statewide television commercial that was being run against me, portraying me as a Pomeranian lapdog for a large Arizona utility. After my election, Bob and I shared the west wing of the second floor, Commissioner's wing, and I can tell you without question that we were the rowdy and fun side. We always had a lot going on over in our side of the wing. Having spent the last 2 years working closely with Bob, I'm going to miss him terribly. His sense of humor is unsurpassed in my experience. His wit is by turns wry, sardonic, cynical, dry, and richly ironic. How's that for big words, Bob? That seriously, Bob is not just about laughs. I would say that Bob undoubtedly possesses the deepest understanding of some of the complex policy issues that we must deal with here at the Commission. His insight into the issues and the creative solutions he offered will set the excellence bar high for all current and future Arizona commissioners. Finally, he has been my mentor and friend in so many ways that I simply cannot name them all. Bob, I'm going to miss you as a colleague, but I look forward to continuing our friendship, too. I think at this point I need to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, you know, they say that brevity is the soul of wit, and utility regulation usually doesn't involve brevity or wit, but I'll try to live up to both qualities today. You know, cleaning out my office last week, I was bathed in a warm glow of nostalgia as I thumbed through my collection of cherished constituent communications. And I'd like to offer up just a few emails I received, which may help to illuminate the dramas that have enlivened the ACC over the past 8 years. George Plimpton once noted that the shortest poem in the English language is called Lines on the Antiquity of Microbes. Adam had 'em. The shortest political email I've ever received was but one word, presumably directed at me, dirtbag. The second shortest I received was, go solar, you stink, coal sucks. Even noting the benefit of smart meters will incur the wrath of the tinfoil hat ladies of Arizona. This is a real group, I'm not making this up. Their email to me consisted of 3 words, dump the stump. That I'm here before you today proves I survived their short-lived attempts at impeachment. These messages give you a flavor of the level of rancor in Arizona energy circles. Thankfully, though, we've been in good hands over the past year. Some of you may know that Chairman Doug Little is a graduate of the Arizona Cowboy College. The hands that pounded the gavel and skillfully guided our proceedings also perfected the art of castrating young bulls. I don't know about you, but that's the kind of man I want regulating utilities. Indeed, Mr. Chairman, your tenure has been one of the most consequential in Arizona history, not to mention one of the most judicious, wise, and fair. The qualities that have defined your chairmanship define you. You have stood fast in hard places, and we have all profited by your example. I can think of no one else who owns a knife and gun method school and is trained in advanced Kalashnikov rifle gunfighting, who has also been portrayed on TV by an adorable Pomeranian actor named Looney. That fell flat. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Arizona is in your debt. They can't all be pearls. Commissioner Faris, KC is truly the better one-half of one-fifth of the fourth branch of government. You said it was a joy to work with me, but the joy was all mine. It has indeed been a joy. When you go on tour with your new rock band named White Heat, please don't forget to invite me. Commissioner Burns, we've served together off and on for nearly 15 years. I've told you that your 80-mile bike rides are a thing of wonder. An 80-mile car ride is enough to tire me. You've given generously of your time and talents to Arizona for decades. Your namesake, the great Scot, Robert Burns, asked, should old acquaintance be forgot? I hope never to forget yours. Commissioner Tobin, I never cease to be impressed by your diligence and commitment to the job. You chose not to hug the shore or to wade in slowly. You jumped in with 2 feet, and the water's been warmer thanks to you. I'll miss working with you on energy storage and peak shaving issues, and I'll never forget those delicious bananas you gave me. Commissioner-elect Dunn, I'm so happy you'll be serving. All Arizonans should be happy. I know you will make them proud. Beth and Lauren, what would I have done without you? You are 2 of the finest human beings I know. Letitia, Mom, Susan, Gary, Brenda, Amanda, Tricia, Tom, Ellen, Lon, Janet, Jody, Lori, Kelly, Eli, Janice, Shannon, Brandon, Angie, Matt, several Matts, Chris, Andrea, Shay, Carolyn, and so many others. Words fail me. I am grateful for your counsel and your friendship. Your friendship has involved wartime duty. All of us have been situated at ground zero in the so-called solar wars. Here it's always high noon. So-called dark money may be flung at you when you least expect it, and a form of green McCarthyism seeks to chill discussion and squelch dissent on the critical issues before us. We all know the saga of Chicken Little, who drank so much Kool-Aid that he grew up to be a sacred cow. During my chairmanship, Arizona became the first state in the union to set an example on how to rectify the cost shift imposed by rooftop solar users by ensuring that they begin to pay their fair share to use the grid. Arizona became a national model, even though Tufts declared that such reform would be, in their words, contrary to the American way. We Arizona regulators had the audacity to tax sunshine, which showers freely upon ratepayers like manna from heaven. As renowned rate-making expert Rachel Maddow put it, the commission instituted a fine for the crime of using solar. Al Gore even denounced us in Rolling Stone magazine. We must have been doing something right. Partly as a result of that decision, I was harassed and sued by a dark money group funded by the largest rooftop solar installer in the country, Solar City. Yet this commission and I prevailed in court every single time. The circus set in motion by the fantasies regarding my texting habits was the Arizona equivalent of Geraldo Rivera opening up Al Capone's vault. Much ado about nothing, but at great cost to ratepayers. Distract, sue, intimidate, refuse to compromise, invent fake news. These have been the political tools of the solar wars. The cloak and dagger dramas have been worthy of a novel by John le Carre or perhaps Franz Kafka. In the case of Nevada Commissioner David Cole, threats from rooftop solar advocates required police protection at his house. Solar activists brandished guns in the hearing room during open meeting and distributed flyers listing his home address. In Arizona, the strategy was a clever one. Fund a dark money group to invent phony scandals and drag the commission's reputation through the mud, recruit candidates to run on those scandals, and fund those candidates handsomely. Thankfully, the politics of personal vilification failed not just in the Arizona courts, but in the court of public opinion. Justice was served for me, and it was served on November 8th. Some in the media who strike poses of righteous indignation regarding our character actually urged us to become corrupt. You heard that right. The Arizona Republic has implored us to demonstrate our independence from APS by voting against APS. Never mind the merits of the issue before us. Just vote against them as often as possible, and public confidence in this body will be restored. In other words, don't do your constitutional duty, commissioners. Don't vote your conscience or deliberate in the public interest. Vote politically, strike a pose, make a statement. It's all about the so-called cloud of suspicion, you see. Never mind that the cloud is an illusion, as so many concede. Never mind that the entirely legal election spending in 2014 did nothing to affect Tom and Doug's integrity, again, as so many concede. Has one lone journalist actually comprehensively examined their voting records vis-a-vis APS? Most of you know the answer to that question. Arizona's paper of record urged us to do something corrupt to prove we're not corrupt. Had we followed its advice, we would have confirmed the newspaper's accusations by trying to dispel its accusations. We would have indeed become captured regulators. Regulators captured by obsessions about our public image, judges changing our votes to a preoccupation with debunking the fables concocted by dark money propagandists. But we did what we thought was right every single time. Not 1 cent of solar dark money or one editorial based on fake scandals invented by the dark money the media claims to deplore intimidated us into changing our votes. Anyhow, enough of the past. Now is a time for celebration, not recrimination. Exciting times are ahead for this commission, after all. In particular, the proposed Clean Peak Standard holds great promise. I fully expect energy storage to progress by leaps and bounds in the coming years. We may be living through a revolution in the energy sphere, the likes of which we have yet to see in our lifetime. Mr. Chairman, you and Commissioner Bittersmith and so many others deserve so much credit for the water reforms which will ensure safe and reliable water infrastructure for Arizonans without rate shock. As this commission marches on, I am confident it will be mindful of the mottos of Arizona's Great Seal, which reads, God enriches. Fittingly, our seal memorializes Arizona's reservoirs and dams, the harnessing of its mighty natural resources, its irrigated fields of citrus and cotton, its cattle and its miners and its mills. As I took the helm of the chairmanship 3 years ago, I promised that the five of us, working with you, would be responsible stewards of Arizona's energy resources, always recognizing the trusts that have been placed in each of us by each of you. I hope I have lived up to that trust and this responsibility. After throwing his hat in the political ring, Barry Goldwater said to his brother, "It ain't for life, and it might be fun." It's been great fun thanks to so many of you, and it certainly was never going to be for life. In closing, while preparing these comments, I remembered what the uncle of one of my professors in graduate school once said. He was the great American theologian Reinhold Niebuhr, and I quote, "Nothing that is worth doing can be achieved in our lifetime. Therefore, we must be saved by hope. Nothing which is true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Therefore, we must be saved by faith. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we must be saved by love. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as it is from our standpoint. Therefore, we must be saved by the final form of love, which is forgiveness. Indeed, hope is what builds upon my memories, the hope that whatever I've accomplished will lead to a redoubling of efforts among my successors, and that energy policy in Arizona will be the better for it. I have faith in this body, faith that it will continue to work to achieve just and reasonable rates in the public interest. And I have the great hope, the knowledge really, that these five men will be trustworthy overseers of Arizona's energy future. To participate in something enduring, to give ambition its due without selling their souls, politicians must always be saved by forgiveness, that final form of love, much as they must extend forgiveness to their critics. Can politicians actually do so? You are looking at one who did. My colleagues have proven Harry Truman wrong. Your best friends in politics are not your dogs. They can be your colleagues, your coworkers. Politics is, of course, a communal endeavor, and a politician can never accomplish anything alone. But even so, only the love of his neighbors can sustain him. In my case, colleagues who became dear friends. Moreover, when you're able to put all pettiness and bitterness aside and connect your heart to the public good, you see more clearly your place in the story of the past. Emerson spoke of a long, winding train reaching back into eternity, as well as your friend's place in fulfilling the hopes of the future. My colleagues, some of whom have spent years tacking into strong gusts and small sloops, have helped me to understand this. I rather like opera, as many of you know, and I listened again recently to a Richard Strauss opera, Der Rosenkavalier, which translates as The Knight of the Rose. One of Strauss's operatic themes is that time is a subtraction, but also an addition. Our time to act is fleeting. Where did that little girl go, one of his characters asks in advanced age, and where are the snows of yesteryear? She's the same person, she notes, yet herself is subject to time and forever in flux. As she puts it, time is a strange thing. When you live for the moment, time means nothing at all, and then all of a sudden you are aware of nothing else. It is all around us, inside us even. It shifts in our faces, swirls in the mirror, flows in your temples. It courses between you and me, silent as in an hourglass. Often I hear it flowing irrevocably. Often I get up in the middle of the night and make all the clocks stand still. Facing the loss that time guarantees for all of us, she advises us to hold, but hold with the awareness that it is not to last. The brevity of our holding makes it even more precious. With light heart and light hands, she says, hold and take, hold and let go. Lately, as the nights have advanced more slowly, even as time has seemed more ravenous, I've remembered the old hymn I sang as the grandson of a Presbyterian minister. how time, the ever-rolling stream, bears all things away to be forgotten as a dream dies at the break of day. And I've wished nothing more than to make all the clocks stand still. That is because I've held many of you in my heart, and yet now it's time to let go. Your fellowship has shown me how a man can be saved by hope, illuminated by faith and friendship that shines thanks to that final form of love. 8 years was too short, but my heart is light because it is full of cheer. This cheer will always dwell within me because I was truly wealthy in my friends. I thank you one and all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Well, it's customary for each of the commissioners to say a few words to a departing colleague. If you so desire, I'll turn that over to you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner.
Thank you. I'd like to say a few things, but I have a dinner appointment that I'm running behind for. So listen, Bob, it's kind of funny. Every time I show up somewhere, you're on your way out. You know, when I showed up to the legislature, you were chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee, and then you left us, and I stayed. And now I get appointed by Governor Ducey last February, and you're on your way out. So I hope next time we get a chance to work together again, it'll be for longer. So thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I ended up taking Representative Stump's office in my first office in the legislature. And I had some good friends tell me at that time that this was a special person, great sense of humor, very fun to serve with. As I got to know you, Bob, there was a lot of pressure around you because you are a bright person and you dress nice and the standards are very high. So I remember when first getting elected to the commission, I remember my wife was dressing me. And I felt the pressure. And as I walked into the commission, you said your tie doesn't match.
Boy, how rude.
To
Sorry.
illuminate,
He hasn't forgotten it.
illuminate all of you to a point of great scandal here at the commission. I started to get texts from Bob about cats and pictures of cats. And slow to the punchline, after a number of these, I said, why are you sending me texts of cats? And Bob said, one day they'll all come out, and then they'll know that's all we ever sent each other. It has been such a pleasure to serve with you, and I look forward to the next chapter in that. Thank you, Bob.
Me too. Thanks.
Well, Mr. Chairman, and I too wanted to say a word. Bob and I actually served in the legislature from the same legislative district for a while, and so it's been a pleasure, and wish you the best of luck, Bob.